Here with Shawn and Katie Porter. Thanks again, guys. Now, you guys are getting ready to fly out later tonight to New York. There's a big card out there. Danny Garcia against Lamont Peterson. Undercard, Lee versus Quillen. What do you think of that card, first off? The fight.
I think it's a great card. That's one reason we're going out is, obviously to be a part of everything and, be seen and all that. But aside from that, to watch the competition that's going in the ring on Saturday night is it's a pretty great card. I can't call any winners in that one. I'm hearing that Peter Quillen is going to have a very, very tough fight against Lee. And obviously two great fighters in Lamont Peterson and also Danny Garcia. So some great competition on Saturday night, and I'm looking forward to it.
What do you think about it, Kenny?
Yeah, it's going to be some great fights. The Danny Garcia, Lamont Peterson fight. If for no other reason than at this point Danny's still undefeated, I'd probably lean Danny's way, but there's no surprise to me at all if Lamont was able to pull it off. You're not going wrong either way, either guy you pick in that fight. And on the Peter Quillen, Andy Lee fight, Pete's had some good fights, and Andy Lee's had some great comeback knockouts. So again, you're not going either way. You're not wrong either way. Probably leaning towards Pete in that fight. Kid Chocolate, I'm leaning towards him to win that fight.
Okay. And
it's the same thing I said about with me and Timothy Bradley. You got Danny Garcia and Lamont Peterson. You got a more mature, older fighter getting in the ring with a young guy who basically watched him coming up in the amateur program. And for me, to fight Timothy Bradley, it's one of those things where you're like, oh, it's gonna happen. It's finally here. But again, man, I think the time's come for fights like that to happen. So I think it's also a fight that the public really wants.
Gotcha. Now, the Garcia versus Peterson is part of the Premier Boxing Champions. It's their second event on NBC. A lot of people in the industry have been talking about the moves Al Haymon's been making. You're signed to Al Haymon several years. Kenny, you have a close relationship with him. What have just been your thoughts on this big moves he's made?
He's done a great job. What we're looking at right now is the changing of the guard and also looking at the landscape of boxing changing. It's not what we used to see in recent years. We've even gotten past some of these fights being part of that Cold War. We've gotten past that. These guys are fighting each other now. So he's done a fantastic job. I'm glad we're part of it. We've been working with Al now since 2009. And when we first started off with him, these were the things he said he was going to do, and he's done everything he said he was going to do.
Okay. And I was going to ask you, what was it about him where you said, I trust this guy to guide my son's career, turn him into a superstar? What was it that prompted the initial union?
I think for us, it's different from a lot of other people that are involved with boxing or involved with Al. We have a history dating back to the same city. We were both born in the same city.
Mm-hmm.
Also dating back to my first boxing trainer. Used to train Al's brother, Bobby, who was a professional fighter. Also, we've got another history where Shawn's aunt graduated from the same high school as Al.
Yeah.
So there's just a lot of things that go on there that brought us together, and knowing each other and knowing a lot of the same people,
mm-hmm.
and having a lot of the same relationships. So when you can refer back to someone and say, well, what do you think about this person, or what do you think about that person, and they know them personally, it makes a big difference. So yeah, we've got a deep history in coming from the same city, and a lot of the same family members and friends that came up through the business, and also like I said, even in school.
How is Al Haymon different as far as Haymon boxing different from other promoters, and how is it going to change the landscape of boxing in the future, do you think?
For me, I think it's a consummate professional quality, high level of business, the way he handles his business is such a high level that you know going in, when you sit down to the table, when you discuss fights, when you discuss dates, when you discuss TV, you know that everything that he's presented to you is exactly what it's going to be at the end of the night when you get your hand raised. And that's the way it's always been with him.